I want to do a standard seminar, like with slides and stuff like that. I want to do this much more like a workshop. And Shamara has the other microphone. Don't hesitate to just lift your hand whenever you want to interrupt and ask a question. He will come to you and, well, you know how this works. What I'm trying to do in the next 45 minutes is to explain Softimage XSI, but I don't try to explain the whole software because it's impossible. This is a high-end software package for animation, specialized on character animation, and I try to explain about 1% of the software, which is exactly that part of the software I'm using day by day. And it's this 1% thing is very funny because you use 1% of the software 99% of the time. And this is the most important part of the software for you, for your personal work. But to find this 1% of the software, to really get to know it and to get used to it, it takes a year or more, much more. If you have a person next to you sitting, maybe in your office or wherever, who knows the software, then it can be done in 3 weeks or a month. But usually you're sitting on your own and try to figure it out. And that's what I'm trying to do. I try to show you the 1% that's really needed to do character animation or general modeling and real-time content stuff for demos in this 45 minutes my way. So this is not the way Softimage works. This is just the way I'm working with Softimage. And it's important to say. I think within the next 45 minutes you will see a lot of things that I say, well, that can be done better, of course. But maybe I just didn't find out how. And, well, maybe this software is not that good like Maya, Max. Let me ask, is anyone here who uses Softimage already? Okay. How long? You're really a pro user? Just take the microphone.
I was using a very old version of Softimage for about 1 year.
It was Softimage 3D or
Softimage 3D on a very, very old Silicon Graphics. It was Hindi. It's especially for architectural works, but not for character animation anymore.
Okay, so this could be interesting for you because this is a new version, and there are a lot of funny stuff in there, and that's not in Softimage 3D. Okay, I know. Any Max users here? Okay. Maya? No, really? No Maya user. Okay. The shy one. And Lightwave? Okay. Light refraction. Okay. Well, then let's start. Basically, I'm hiding behind this monitor all the time from now on. Well, to use this software, you can when you start, you get exactly this screen. This is okay to work, but it's not very good configured for proper workflow. The first thing is I want to work in all 4 screens, but I want to switch full screen. And I have to do this with pressing F12. This is very, very uncomfortable. I want to use this on the tab key because like Photoshop, getting rid of all that. So I just reconfigure that. And this is pretty easy. I just press F12. It says maximum restore current viewport. I just drag it somewhere, and he says, "Oh, this is default command map. Blah blah blah. You really want to change it? Yes." And I'm just typing in a new key template, Gizmo Seminar. Okay. So I have a new configuration. I press F12 again, drag and drop it to the tab key, and okay. So I can press tab and get this result. Great. Okay, next thing, selection model. When you install Softimage, you get a selection model just like in Windows. So if you select an object and you select another one without pressing Shift, then the other one gets deselected. This is cool for a desktop system, but it's not cool in a 3D application where you select various multiple vertices and you don't see them at all, and you select and you forget Shift, and things you can't see disappear. So we say select single object and region and Softimage 3D selection model. Next thing, the Maya users, which are not here, are used to 3D manipulators. I show you how this works. I have a cube. I go in transform mode, and I have this nice little arrows I can drag. This is what I just turned on here. Transform preferences. And, well, the usual way to work with it is I select and transform, and I have the 3 mouse buttons for the directions. And this is quite nice if you don't see this arrow things. Like, for example, here. I just want to get rid of that cube here and just move it. I don't have to see them. So I want to use that also. And this is what I just did. I turned on click outside manipulator. So if you're outside that region, you can say old Softimage 3D style. You know that. Okay, that's for that. Now it's quite nice configured, and we can start to navigate. I start with a new scene. Okay, so we know tab, and we don't know how to navigate in 3D space. There is the old way, Softimage 3D way, pressing Z and O and P, but we can get rid of that because we have S. The S command has all 3 of these navigation things in one key. S plus left mouse button is dragging around like this. And can you see that? No, you can't. I just get a cube. Okay, that's better. Dragging, zooming, and rotating. So all you have to remember, S. And that's all you need for navigation. Get rid of the grid. You can't see that anyway, I think. Press G, and it's all gone. Okay, so that's for navigation. What else do we need? We have objects. We can get them here. Primitive, polygon mesh, that's all I'm concentrating on. There are curves, there are surfaces, NURBS, and stuff like that, but it's all bullshit if you want to do real-time stuff. So we're just concentrating on polygons. And subdivision surfaces, which is much more interesting. Okay, I got a cube, and to get the parameters of the cube, I just select it, which I can do by simply dragging, and press enter. And this is all I got. I can define the length and subdivisions. Oh, that's quite nice, but not very not necessary. But it's nice to know that getting the properties by pressing enter. Whenever you select something, just press enter to get the properties. This works for animation, textures, for whatever. It works everywhere. Okay. What you guys have seen? The cube is somewhere in the scene, but I've selected it, and I want to have it directly in front of the camera. Pressing F, it shows up. Pressing A is showing everything in the scene. For example, if I have a second cube and I press F, then I just have this cube selected. If I press A, I have them both. And the point of interest is centered. So this is basic stuff too, but it's quite handy. It works for everything. For example, polygons, I just can zoom in there and just show that polygon, or press space again to get in model selection, object selection mode, and press F again, so I have that cube. So okay, this is the boring part, but it's important. Okay, what do I have next? Modeling. I think that's okay. No. We have. I told you how to select objects. We have the U key for polygons. That for raycast. What's it called? Rectangle selection polygons. It goes through the object, while U is real raycast selection. It just selects the faces you see one by one. You can drag, of course. And what you can do is press Alt key and it will try to make a line. I can show this with more subdivisions. You can see that better. Select like this and press Alt, click here and click here, and he's trying to find a way. It's not very good in diagonal way, but I want to just select all of them. That's cool. Okay. Let's get into modeling. I've already duplicated this object, and this is quite simple. Just press Ctrl D, and you can move it away. Controlling the SRT, Scale, Rotate, Translate. You can of course push this button, but it's better learn the shortcut, which is XCV. Quite like in Maya, but 3 rows down. Okay. So I can I don't know which one is the right one. I just press all 3 of them until I see the right thing here. It's like, okay, this one. I want to move that out. So if I press Ctrl D again, and I don't do anything else in between, and I press Ctrl G again after that, it does the same step again and again and again and again until I stop pressing Ctrl D. It's quite nice if you have modeled something that you just want to copy multiple times. You can do that, of course, by duplicate instance, and you have a lot of options, but most of the time you just want to select something, press Ctrl D, move it somewhere, and press Ctrl D again to do some nice symmetrical stuff. Okay. Very odd. And this works for everything. This is the cool thing in Softimage. When you've learned a concept, it works everywhere in the software. Many people know, for example, it's my bad example, Max. It's a very, very powerful software where thousands of people have worked in and for, and they made plugins and all that stuff. And everyone has his own imagination of how the software has to work. So every plugin works different. This is something in Softimage that barely exists. You pressing Ctrl D, for example, in object mode is duplicating an object. If I have a polygon and I press Ctrl D, it could just duplicate the polygon, but this is most of the time I don't want to have that. So when I press Ctrl D here, it does obviously nothing, but if I move that, it extrudes. And this is something I want to have all the time. So they said, okay, pressing Ctrl D is duplicate, but in a more useful way. And this works for vertices too. So I press T, select a vertex, zoom in. Here's my vertex, and I press Ctrl D. And what does it do? It generates new geometry at this point. In a way, I want to have it. Somehow, maybe not, but they tested it, and it's what you want to have most of the time. So, of course, edges too. I select an edge, press Ctrl D, and it generates new topology. This is really, really nice when you're modeling. This basic stuff, I don't have to go somewhere like here, polymesh, blah, 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 whatever, to get a special function. It's all very, very primitive, very basic. That's the clue of the software. Very few functions doing very, very much. And you just have to remember one shortcut. And it works everywhere, even in an animation. We will see that later. Okay, so let's go on to modeling. I'm going to load up a model. I just, not finished, but I'm about to finish, which was for a commercial, but it didn't happen. The contract didn't. It's a monkey, and I'm using all the time subdivision surfaces when modeling, and this is what I did here. you see, this is a very low resolution mesh, and if you don't have a keyboard like this, but a proper keyboard, then you have a numeric keypad, and you have a plus and minus key. I have to fake that here, and if I press minus several times, then I see the original model. And this is what I'm actually modeling. Low resolution mesh. Press Shift Enter to see how many polygons it has. It has 6,800 triangles and 3,500 faces. So this is really, really low polygon for a commercial thing. But I just press plus on the numeric keypad and tessellate, and I can work with that in real time. So if I select this polygon by pressing U and selecting it, and pressing V to move it, it does what you think it has to do. And that's quite nice. They improved the view of that. Back then, few things ago, it was like that. So you don't actually see the wireframes on the mesh, but you have the cage and the generated mesh inside, the shaded one. This is not so nice, so they fixed that, and it's now like this, which is perfect. One sad thing about that is if you select points and you move them, I have some more points selected somewhere, just deselect them. The center of the controller is still at its original place. You see? Let's go here. Move out. This is a bit annoying, but you get used to it, and I hope they will fix it in the next version, because there's no reason for that, except it looks strange when working. So okay, I'll just go back. Okay. What's important when modeling? This whole monkey was cut out of a cube. Not the body. The body is a standard. I show you. Got primitive model body man, and there it is. This was my starting for the body. My advice is never ever be afraid of using other people's models to get started your own. I know demo sceners don't like that, but it's the result what's counting, and not the way you're doing it. Of course, you can go and say, well, I did that all on my own and blah blah blah. But in the end, it's just the result. So if you have a model like this and you can use it and it's free, and you can start from that, do it. Don't do it if the topology is bad. This is the point where I'm going to explain now what the topology is, or what problems with topology. This model has some problems. For example, try to be... no. We're doing it. You see... Can you see that? No, you can't. Damn. Okay. Properties. We have a nice feature which is called Hell Light, and I enable that. And I hope I can see. Okay. It's okay. More intensive. It's a bit hard to see on the screen, but we have something like a shadow here. Can you see that? And that shadow is it's not an error, but it's somehow bad modeling. What you see here is I have four-sided polygons all over the place, and here is a three-sided one, and what's worse, five-sided one here. And this is something you can't completely avoid when modeling with subdivision surfaces, but try to reduce the parts of that as much as possible, because it generates geometry that has like, what's it called, holes? I don't know. It doesn't look good. It breaks the continuity. continuity of the surface, and I have that all over the place, like here and here and everywhere. This is a problem you really can't avoid. Just try to live with it and try to reduce it as much as possible. In the end, with a good renderer, you won't see it, but in real time, we will see it all the time. So you have to put a texture on it or stuff like that to hide that parts. Well, try to be as square as possible, always. Okay. What can we do if you have something like this? The first thing that comes to mind is just generate an edge here, which we do. If you press Alt and hold down the right mouse button, and you're in the right mode, like edge, press E for edge mode, and you press Alt and the right mouse button, then you get all the properties you can or all the functions you can do. The whole software is case sensitive, so you don't have anything in every menu, so just the things you need in that mode and the mode you are in. Okay, and what I want to do now is make an edge. Edge, come on. Where is it? Okay, add edge. You can press the hotkey. Unfortunately, on a German keyboard, you can't access that. So I had to remap that, but I'm too lazy now, so I just use that. But keep in mind, pressing Alt and the right mouse button delivers you every command you can use at that point where we are. So okay, just select that point, select that one, and we have an edge. And well, you see, this just produced another problem in the topology, but it's better than before. So I do that here too. Just put. Okay, great. Okay, so adding edges is no big deal. It works real fine, and don't be afraid of doing that. I'm rearranging the topology of a mesh all the time, like doing things like that and saying, okay, up there, selecting. Oh well, there's a lot selected. I just deselect that, pressing E. Middle mouse button. Oh, can you see that down there? Whenever you're in a mode, when you select a mode, like pressing E or space, and it shows what you can do with the mouse buttons: select, deselect, toggle. And what I'm doing now is middle mouse button, deselect. So I deselect everything. I zoom in with the S, and I select the edge, like this. No, not that one. That before. Maybe that one. So press F, zoom in, and just delete them. And this is how I'm rearranging topology. I'm building up a mesh. I'm knocking out the proper the rough model, and then I'm rearranging the topology. And I think it's for character creation, it's most of the part rearranging the topology, which is well, also the most annoying part, but it delivers the best results in the end. So it's a bit like, well, I like it very much, because getting out of lowest geometry, lowest polygons count, most best surface. Well, okay. Topology. That's that. Maybe we just start doing something from a cube. Okay. So we have this cube, and I just subdivide it now. Press plus on the numeric keypad that I don't have, and select. Press U. Select the polygon. Duplicate. And pull it out, like this. For example, deselect, select, duplicate, pull it out. Okay, deselect, duplicate, pull it out. And you see, when you're trying to work with subdivision surface, you pretty fast get an idea how this is working, and you can get fast result, really fast get good results with that. That's another thing. I want to extrude something in this area, but there's no polygon. I can select this one and pull it out, but it would move the whole body. So I have to add some polygons in this area. Another edge line. I can do that by just selecting the model, press Alt, and say Add Edge again. No, Split Edge tool. And this is a really nice tool. I can split one edge, then it generates a point at this thing, at this line in this area. But what I can do is I just press middle mouse button and say split all parallel edges, and it goes around the object along U or V, whatever. And I have now what I wanted, and just can pull this out. Can scale it a bit, make it more round, move it a bit in the middle. Okay, and now I have something quite nice and round. And I can do that on the back too. Get something like this eggy thing. Okay, selecting things like that, going down, and something like a tooth or whatever. Let's give him some feet. Duplicate again, and whatever, scale, something like that. Okay, pretty ugly guy with big feet. Duplicate. Oh my god. Okay. If you have time and not hundreds of people looking at you, you can model quite fast with things like that. So all you have to do basically is select a polygon, duplicate, extrude, and generate the rough geometry. If I really want to do a complete character, I just go on and say, well, get up here, duplicate again, knock out the arms, and stuff like that. Select, deselect, duplicate. And this is something when I have two polygons on each side of the object, and I want to extrude them in their own direction, like away from the object. I can do this many ways. For example, I can just say, well, scale. This is quite handy. But this works not always. If you're modeling symmetrical, then this is fine. But most of the time, you won't do that. You have something in this area. Where is it? There. This is the orientation of the objects and of the components you selected, like global and local. And this is what I'm doing now. I'm selecting local. And when I transform on the local area, you see it's doing exactly the same. But it works everywhere. For example, like this. Just let me duplicate that guy too. Duplicate, okay. Select that again. Reselect. And you see, this is working everywhere. So this is quite nice. There's something more like global and local, which is even more important. And that's local with center of geometry. Okay, let's get the grid back. The problem. I reset the camera pressing R. When I scale these polygons, they scale around the center of the object. But maybe I want to scale the center of this polygon, just only that. And this is where center of geometry comes in. I just select that, toggle that, and the cross is not in this place, but here. So I can do this all the time. I think center of geometry is, well, almost all the time when I'm working. Very few moments where I toggle this off. So, okay, we have a ugly guy with a fat nose, and I just will delete that. Okay, so much from modeling. There's something. Let's see. Okay. Well, modeling is something I can't show really. It's just these are the basic tools I'm using all the time. It's really just selecting a component, duplicate it, move it, and rearrange the topology. So delete, transform, move. That's it. That's all you need. There are some things that are special. For example, like pressing Alt and selecting some things faster than the usual way. And one thing that's very, very great are the RC tools. They are from you can get them from klausfiguren.de, and this is an add-on to Softimage, which is a lifesaver. I'll show you. Oh, by the way, if you download that, you can just save that from the website directly, and you just have to drag and drop that into the interface, and the add-on is installed. So this is quite nice. And after that, you have application views. No, not there. Toolbars, RC tools, and this is a window where a few scripted things are in there. You can see them. Softimage is completely Windows scripting host compatible, so you can script in any scripting language you have in Windows installed. Visual Basic Script, JavaScript, whatever. It's working in here in real time, and you can customize almost everything with that. You can access the whole engine of the software with this command using your own syntax. And this is what Ray did. He just did a few buttons that can help you while modeling. In fact, I never used any one of these except one, which is where is it? I just show you in my layout. I have a special layout which is just modified in this area, the edge loop. And the edge loop is a quite nice thing. I already showed you the Alt key, but there's something better than that. If I select one single edge, I just press this button, which has this little script down here, and it selects the whole edge around. This is quite nice if you're working on a model like this. This is also a sneak preview of content I'm working on for a new demo. This is far from finished, but if you're working on something like that, for example, you say, well, the legs are quite nice, but they need to be more round or something like that. You just select two edges. Come on, where are you? There. Oh, there are still others selected somewhere. I don't know. Want to know where? Okay, here we are. And you just want to make them bigger. You just press edge loop. It selects all around, so you don't have to select them all by hand. And you can, well, scale or whatever, do whatever you want. And this is quite nice to work with. Oh, here we have the center of gravity problem. It does the center of gravity between these two selections. And in this case, I just want to deselect that. And where's the cross? It just disappeared. Let's go back to local, and here we have it locally. That's much better. So this time we don't want center of gravity, which would be here, of course. So this is it. As you can see on this model, I'm working on that for about, I don't know, about a month now, and it was knocked out of a cube, and you can still see that in this area. It's still very, very blocky, and not very round, and all that. It takes time, at least for me. I know some modelers who can knock out a goal like that in a weekend. Unfortunately, I'm not one of these guys. Well, it depends on your own capability and modeling. Well, how good you are. I'm not so good, so it takes time, a lot of time. And you can see here rearranging the topology. I did that all the time, just going down to the low-res model, and well, okay, I'm hiding that. And as you can see, I have a lot of areas with problems in here, and this is the worst thing you can do. Just never ever do an edge in UV whatever and just stop it somewhere. Never do that. Always add an edge to a point like this. This is the better way. So you can see this is pretty much work in progress. And well, it's what's called Baustelle in English? It's a construction site, yeah. This will take weeks to finish. So don't expect to model something in an evening. It simply won't work, I think, unless you're very, very good. So take yourself some time and don't hesitate to remodel everything all the time and throw the polygons away, make new ones. Oh, this is something I can show you too. Selecting some polygons, and there's still something selected. Okay, and just delete them. It's quite nice. Now you have some holes. You can always make new ones, and this is really, really nice done in Softimage. Pressing N, I just go to the edge, and it gets automatically selected. I just click on that, click on another surface, and it got closed. Ping. And even the texture is continued properly after that. So this is really, really lossless working, even if you have already a texture applied to your object. So just close that again, plink, and over here, like that. Great. Okay. So much for that. While I have this model, I can show you, well, possibly the most tedious part of working in a 3D program is texturing. I heard that Maya has some quite nice texturing tools that work perfectly for unwrapping an object. Problem with texturing for real time. Usually you only have one or two maps for the whole thing, so you have to Haushalten? Okay, you know that. You have to be careful with your texture. You can't waste too many textures for one object because you have a lot of objects in your scene, and your graphics card RAM is limited. So for a main character, it's no problem to apply a few textures, unless if your engine can support that. But usually, you just have one texture, and maybe a light map added. And especially the light map is a problem. Some programs, like for example the Quake editor and tools like that, they automatically generate the light map, and they do automatically generate the projection of the textures. Unfortunately, for character development, this is not the solution that really works, and I show you why. When you just take a new scene, and I take this default guy from Softimage library. No, got primitive model character man. Oh no, that's the head. I want to have the head. Model face body man. Like that. Okay. Go to shaded. Oh, by the way, pressing on a button with the middle mouse button redoes the last thing you did with that. For example, I switched from wireframe to shaded, and if I press middle mouse button, it does that again. So I can just switch back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. This is quite nice. It's a bit like pressing Alt Tab. So, okay. I have no light. Just put in some point light somewhere. Okay, so we can see that guy. So, I apply a texture. Let's go here, say texture image. And then we have this standard no icon image. And I'm going to do a projection. And I say, well, just make a unique UV projection. So every polygon has one place on the texture, and there's only one polygon per pixel, whatever you want to call it. So there are no overlapping polygons. This is what you need if you want to do light maps, because the problem is, imagine a cylindrical projection on the head. It works quite nice. You can texture it quite nice. There's only one problem area, and that's the ear. You have the texture of the ear, and it gets projected on the inside of the ear too, and on the head. And this is no problem for the general texture. If you paint the texture map, then you don't have that problem, because you can control that, and you can paint it the way that nobody recognizes it. But if you're calculating a light map, then you have a problem. For example, this should be light, but on the inside of the ear it should be dark. And this is where the standard projections simply don't work, because they have overlapping polygons on the texture. And this is where the unique UV mapping comes in. And when we generate that, it looks like this. We say, okay, new unique UV, close that, and go to textured mode, and we see, well, it's done somehow. I just enable headlight again, so you can see the back of the guy too. Enable headlight. Okay, thank you. And it is projected somehow. The computer just generates it the way you think it's the best. And we take a look at that right here. Texture editor. There it is. Oh no, we don't do that this way. We press Alt 7 and get a pop-up. Okay, select the character, and here's our texture. Just make that big. And come on. It did quite a well job. We have this, just select island selection, so I can select polygons that are connected on the texture. And well, here we have the guy. Maybe this is the front, I don't know, and this is the back. This is quite nice, but most of the time you don't want to have that, and you definitely don't want to texture that. Not because of this part, but because of this crap up here. And there are some tools to get rid of that. You can see I just select one of these, just zoom in there, and this is a single polygon. And well, I'm just looking where. Oh, this is quite nice. Everyone who uses an Apple computer, if you double click on the title bar, the whole window gets well clapped in, whatever. This is quite nice. They implemented that in the software because I thought it's cool, and Windows doesn't do that. Okay, I have this single polygon selected. I go to this view and press F to show where this is. It's here. It's obviously it doesn't fit to the texture. So what can we do? How can we stick that together back to this thing? It's quite easy. I just press Island Heal to Picked. Press that button. Go back to the view and just select one of the corresponding edges of this star, which is going into the part of the texture I want to edit. I just pick that and tuck, it's there, and it also disappeared here. So it's now somewhere connected, wherever, I don't know. I can do that for all the polygons by hand, of course, and unfortunately I have to do that. I didn't find out how this could work a better way, but you have full control, and you need the full control. There it is. Okay, and there's the next problem. What you see here is red. This shows me that there are overlapping polygons, so I have to rearrange that. And the most easy way is just to move the points where they don't overlap, like this. Okay, great. And pressing A again to show the whole texture. And this way I can rearrange the texture map, the projection of the texture map. And in the end, there's one thing I want to show before. It's going back to one of the projections that doesn't look very good. Okay, here we have it. You see, this part is very, 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 very nice textured. It's along the surface, and the texture is along the UV coordinates. So this is quite good projection. But up here, it gets distorted, and this is annoying if you want to paint the texture. And there's a nice tool to get rid of that. I just make this window a bit smaller so you can see that. I just select the whole projected surface with island selection on. Island selection is a tool just for selecting a whole subpart of the object, like this and this. Okay, just select it and press Ctrl R, and this is the relax tool. And what it does is it just it relaxes the whole thing. And I don't know if you've seen that, but now the projection is perfectly. And I don't know how this works, but it works exactly the way I want it. And I can pull a few parameters, but usually I just press Ctrl R and everything is fine. And if you're lucky and you're investing a bit of time, then your projection looks like this in the end. Loading up the wave again. Okay, going to the Alt 7, selecting the model, and here we are. This is I stitched together as much as possible, so I don't have too many of the areas that produce seams. They don't look good. I can show you one. Where is it? There. Can you see that? Damn. It's too dark. Okay. Now you can see that. Okay, here's the seam. I have to get rid of that. I can do this with dpaint or something like that, paint over that, but it's not very elegant. Most real-time, for example, game artists do that. They just paint over and, they don't care. if you're a perfectionist like me, then you try to get rid of that, so the texture works all the time, even if you're doing dirty work on the texture. So well, you just have to think if you want to do that. But in my case, I'm trying to stitch as much together as possible, and that's what you see. The back is stitched to the front as usual, and when I'm done with this projection, I'm still not done with that. I think most of the parts are stitched together and somehow bended strangely, which is not the usual way to texture. And this is an interesting thing. Usually you paint on that. This is the normal way. I don't do that. You don't have to do that in Softimage. The trick is, if you have a perfect projection, if you've done that, this is my test texture. This is not the texture I'm using in the end. Okay. If you have a perfect projection, this is I think 90% a perfect projection. I have a problem on the feet. They're double, and I have this ear problem, which was generated because I was lazy and I didn't did that carefully enough. After I've done the perfect projection, so there's totally perfect unique mapping on that, and no overlapping stuff and all that. I'm going to project about, I don't know, 1,000 textures to that model. Standard projections from the camera or cylindrical or whatever, and I'm doing alpha transitions. So I'm using a lot of alpha maps to project small parts of the texture to that model. And in the end, there's a nice tool. You just select the model, go to render. Oh, by the way, you can switch through all these menus by just pressing 1, 2, or 3, or 4. And I'm going to 3, and I just select Property, Render Map. And this is the kick-ass tool in Softimage, first comes to texturing. What this does is it takes everything in the scene, lighting, textures, all the whatever, million textures you apply to the mesh, and the whole setup of the program, including mental ray stuff, final gathering, whatever, and it bakes that to the texture. Well, this is not too unexpected, but it does it really, really well. There's when you render a scene, usually in normal render map tools, you don't have that much power. Here you really have the full power of a program that is designed for film, and you can really use that, everything of that. I did that on the mesh for testing, and for example, on this mesh, there is a final gathering scene. It is not barely see. You can barely see that, but the lighting on that texture is a final gathering scene. I just baked it on the texture just to see, okay, how this may look, and you really don't have to care about your texture or whatever. You just model and texture the way you would do it for movies, which is much more easy and gets better results than for real time, and just bake it into the texture, into the projection, and you have a perfect, really perfect texture for that, and you don't have to use Photoshop for that, and this really gets better results, I promise, and it's much easier to work with. So this is a nice trick. You can do that in any 3D application, I guess, by now. So keep that in mind. Don't paint your textures in this view here. It's not the best way, I think. Well, okay. So much for texturing. This is, as you can see, all these buttons. There are quite a lot more things to Well, just one thing, selecting and all that. And when I select a cluster here, of course I can just press V for transform again and just move that, or rotate that, and all that. Scale for somehow zooming. This is just standard. The same as in modeling, same as in animation. Wherever you go, it's always the same key. And so you don't have to learn how to do that in this view. And another thing which you can see already, the green line here is of course connected to this green line. It's just nice to see where the things go to. It's like this, and that, and all that. Here this is connected to this. And you can whoops, sorry, wrong key. Okay, you can just go over here and reconnect that if you want. There's an automatic tool. Or is it? I don't know. You can automatically reconnect that. Press Ctrl R again to relax, so it gets no deformations on that part and all that. So you can really spend a lot of time in this area, and you have to. Oh, there's a texture, and you can't see that, but there is a button. Okay, and I didn't paint anything except for the face, and all this is just generated from the final gathering, and so there is no texture at all except a bit of color here, a dot there and dot there, and well, as soon as I project a real texture, this will look much smarter. Okay, so modeling, texturing, animation. Animation is the main thing in this program, and I'm showing you a little feller I did for a commercial project. Where is it? Where is it? There. It's a little bunny. The German visitors may know this guy. Okay. Very, very basic modeling, as you see. Subdivision surface, of course, it's very low-res model, and it was for a PC game with a Quake engine, I guess. I don't know. And they had this, make it 2,000 polygons and make it as round as possible. It's for kids and stuff like that. Okay. And I did this character from a 2D cartoon to 3D, and we have this really, really nice animation tools in Softimage. Of course, everyone knows keyframe animation, and what's the new, most advanced feature when Softimage came out was the nonlinear animation, which is basically, if you ever worked with a sound tool like a wave editor or something like that, you're used to have small snippets of sound clips, and you mix them together. And this is what you're doing with animation in this tool. So you create small clips, and you just mix them in a timeline together and blend them together, and this is quite nice. But before you can do that, you have to make your character animatable. And when you start, and just go where biped. Delete that. And we go back to the... Oh my god. Okay, this was not intended. Okay. Well, I don't have to show that. It's like whenever you model a character, usually you're modeling it way either like this, staying like this, or something like that. This is the common pose for modeling a character. These two are the most used ones, and of course I did that for the bunny too. In this case, I did this position, and I had to bone it. And boning a character can be a hard task. Not in Softimage, unfortunately. I'm just using our standard character. Body man. Okay, take a look at that guy, and standard is getting a skeleton and draw a chain like this. Well, where is it? Okay, there, and then it gets really, really annoying. Million of fingers and stuff like that. Okay, and oh my god, that was not intended. Anyway, this takes hours and hours and hours to do. This was the way we did that back then. Now we have Character Studio, something like that. Inside Softimage, it's called. Let me take a look. Animate Character Biped Guide, and this is a really, really cool tool. I'm using the middle class version of Softimage. It's the Essentials, which is about 2,000 euros. There is a low cost, cheaper version of that tool, which is about 450 euros, and it supports everything I've shown up until now, and it's a rock solid tool. I can really encourage you to consider buying it if you want to do 3D animation, because it's almost the cheapest package on the market and also the most powerful package on the market within the 2,000 euro range. And so, yeah, but this is something you can't do with it. You have to do it by hand. Okay, I just press OK, the default thing, and now he's importing a model. The funny thing about that is it's importing, so you can save this and re-import it in the cheap version, and it works. Okay, we're going to wireframe, and what I can do is now I can just select these cubes and position my things, my bones, and these are not the bones I'm generating. I'm using later for animation. These are just what's called construction helpers. They just help me to define the proportions of the character, and I can generate a biped from that later on. So all I have to do is positioning all the bones to the right thing. Fortunately, it's symmetrical. I can toggle that off if my character is not symmetrical. Well, this thing was made for that character, so I don't have to do anything. And I just say, well, create a rig from the biped guide now. And I have a lot of options, like which kind of deformation I want to have on the torso, quaternion or skeleton spine. That goes too far. Just let's say quaternion rocks, and forget the other thing. It's stuff from the old days. We can create a belly button if you want. So you can, if you have a character that's huge and you want to move the belly, then you can make an extra bone for that. You can define a lot of stuff. I just say OK, and now you can see he's constructing the hierarchy, and he's doing that for me in seconds, which would take hours. And that's the cool thing, it generated a rig, a complete rig, an animation rig. When you put bones to your character, it works like this. You have a bone, like this one, and when you envelope it, so you attach it to the mesh you really want to deform, what it does is it takes the vertex, and the vertex has the information from which bone he's affected. In this case, from this vertex, it would be affected from this bone and from this bone. And all it stores is how much percent it is affected from this bone and from this bone. And then it tries to move with that rule. So in case of this vertex, it would be complete attached to that bone only. So that bone moves that vertex moves exactly the same. That one would move 50% like that and 50% like that. This is how skinning or enveloping works. Usually you just have two bones connected. You can connect more than, I don't know how many you want. But for real-time engines it's two usually. And okay, this is how the bones affect the mesh. But you don't want to control the bones because this is really an odd job. So you create objects, for example like this one or like this, who control the bones again. And in this case it's much more complicated because the rig that is constructed here is much more than we would need for a real-time engine. So what we can do here is we can take this rig to control the bones. This is the rig. Just imagine these cubes are constrained to these bones. And these bones control other bones that are exported to the engine. This is complicated to set up, but in this case it was just a button I had to push, and the shadow geometry, the shadow skeleton was generated automatically, and it offers a solution. You can animate things like this, automatic foot roll, for example. Or is it? I think it's something like that. Yeah. Let's zoom in there. As you see, this is the. If I rotate the, how's it called, heel. If I rotate the heel, it automatically moves up the whole foot, and it automatically stops on the bottom and keeps, well, it behaves like a real foot. That's the trick. And this is a complicated mathematics stuff behind that. And of course the real-time engine can't do that, but it doesn't have to, because you just export the plotted or whatever skeleton, and you don't export the rig, the first thing, and you don't export the complicated or more complicated skeleton. You just export a very, very basic skeleton. Maybe some of you have seen the 64K intro we did, I don't know, 2 years ago, Candytron, with a computer-generated looking girl, and it was animated originally with this film rig and plotted to the 64K micro size, and we used the standard shadow rigs from Softimage, which are damn optimized. There are very few bones in there, but they control very realistic behavior, human character, and this really rocks. This is almost exactly the same with the texture tools. You can use all the complex stuff and just export it to the low-res stuff you need, and you don't have to worry about, oh my god, I can't use this tool, and because of blah blah blah, our engine doesn't support that. Just don't care. It is possible. Whatever you use in that software, you can export it through some tunnels into the engine, and this is the cool thing. Okay, what I'm doing now is I show you how the rig is working. The standard rig, which is not implemented in the cheap version, but if you know someone who has the essentials or the advanced version, then just get the rig from them and import it, and it works. I think it works. I didn't test it, but it should work. Okay, loading up the bunny again. Okay, neutral. And this rig was done, I don't know, from some guys at Softimage. You can build that up on your own, but why? If you have this fabulous rig over here, just say maximize horizontal, and I just select a part of the rig, because this is my Explorer. It's just like a Windows Explorer, and the rig is located somewhere here. In this case, it must be one of these. But well, I don't care. I just select one part of that, press F in this view and scroll up and see R. Okay, here we are. Just close that tab. And when I select that option, Global SRT, and press F3, then I get a self-constructed HTML window, which has this GIF inside, where I can select all that stuff. So I could just do that, for example, like hide all the curves and just watch the bunny, and still can select all that stuff by selecting it in this thing here, and here it is, doing that. And this is quite nice. I can reset and stuff like that. This is again just some scripts. So what the guy who did that basically did was just he selected something, for example, everything, and it was like here the script. And whatever you do, it gets gets plotted in here, and you just can select that, drag that down here, and you're in the editor, and you can then save that as a command and store that in one of these buttons within seconds. So this is quite nice, and this is what they did here, and they also did that. This is an editor where you can do stuff like that. And if you're working on a big project, it is quite nice to construct something like that. So you can make animation which takes a lot of time, and you will spend weeks or days or months with one character and one setup to work with that more easily. So most of the time when you're working with characters with 2 arms and 2 legs, you just use the standard rig like this, and this really kicks ass, and I show you why. Just turn back on that and select, for example, this. What you can do is you can move that guy very, very, very freely. I don't know, are there any people in here who have experience with skeleton and bone animation? Yeah? Okay, the problem is always you always have a center of the character. Usually it's I just need to do that bigger. Okay, I can't reach that. Usually it's a hip. This is the area where everything is controlled from. So if you move the hip, everything else gets moved with that. And the problem with the center is if you do the center in the hip, and you're doing animations and everything is fine, and then your boss says, well, we need a dancing animation, like let's make him like this, and then you can't do that without problems, because if you move the hip, everything else moves along. So you have to nail the foot to the bottom and all that stuff, and it simply doesn't behave like that. This is because of the hierarchy. Somewhere is the big daddy who controls everything else, and you have to start somewhere. And whenever you move that guy, everything else comes with you. What they did in this rig is there is no real center. You can animate and move everything, and it works just like, well, you expect it to work like this, or that guy also already did. It's not looking very good, but you can do that. And let's and you can see already I can pull every aspect of that, every well, I'm running out of words for today, but believe me, this is quite unusual. and it works for animation very, very well. Okay, let's animate that character. I just reload the scene. Open neutral. No. Okay. Let's do that funny animation, like moving him. Okay, simple keyframe animation. You go to the animation editor. No, to the animation editor. That's cool. And you have this timeline. The best thing is never ever try to plan a complete animation and try to animate the animation from the start to the finish. Always do small snippets, small parts. From my experience, I can say whatever you do it in 40 frames. Never go above 40 frames. 40 frames is if you're planning with 25 frames per second, then it's a bit less than 2 seconds, which is very, 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 very much for animation. And just do it in this 40 frames. So if you want to animate a character that's walking somewhere, then he is standing, going down, taking something up, and carrying it away. Do that part by part. Do an animation just moving down, taking it up, and all that small parts. First, it's much easier to do that, and second, you don't get too confused. Like, oh, this is not looking good. The transition between this and that, and the smaller the parts are, the less problems you get. And I can show you, that character. For example, just a running animation I did with that guy, and he's like this, and these are all 40 frames. And you can mix them together later on. So if you're doing that like this, you get much faster results, and you're much more satisfied with that, because it's small parts, small steps. Animation is always small step. And the good thing is, if one part of that animation sucks, you say, okay, well, that jump is quite nice, but it doesn't look realistic. We have to redo that. And you have a big and huge animation, and somewhere in between is that jump. Then you have a problem, and you don't want to go into that monster animation and just rearrange that jump. You will never do that. But if you have small clips which are arranged in the nonlinear animation mixer, then you just go into the clip, re-edit the jump until it's nice, and go back to the big scene, and well, it's there. And that's what I suggest. So, animating that small clip, quite easy. Just select your controller, go to the position in the timeline, and just press K. Then it generates a keyframe for this rotation. In this case, I'm going to 0 at first, press K, and to 40, press K again. So the start and the end is the same. This is good for looping, if you want to do a loop. I want to do a loop now. So I go to 20, go over here, press K, and just play back that. And it's working. Cool. Okay, this is just this thing. I want to move the arms too. So I just select that guy and that guy, press T, and, well, cool. Okay. I'm going up here and say like this, press K, go over to 40, press K again, go to 20, and say maybe something like that. I don't know how this looks. Oh. I forgot to keyframe that. Okay, so we have the first problem. I didn't keyframe the first keyframe, just the 20 on the 20 and on the 40. But I need exactly the same from the 40 on the 0. I can try to do that per hand. This is what most people try to do. Like, go over here. Well, this looks like the position, and press K. Well, of course, it's wrong. You see? It's jumping. Well, that's no problem. In the animation editor, we have different editors. Expression editor, scripted, and the last one, and that's the most important thing they ever invented, and I think it's invented by Softimage back in the Softimage 3D days, is a dope sheet. The dope sheet shows you all keyframes in time that are generated on the selected components. And in this case, I select the one box and the other. You can see that here it gets automatically updated, and I have, of course, 3 keyframes, and this one is the right one, and this one is the wrong one. So all I just do is select that one, press Shift, and move it over here so it gets duplicated. Press play, and well, oh my God. Okay, well, we better delete that before. Okay, Shift wasn't duplicating. Okay, just copy, paste. Wow, of course, it doesn't work now. Come on. Yep. Okay. And it's working. And this dope sheet is really, really good. Imagine these are just two objects I animated, but when you're doing character animations, you really animate every single aspect of that character, and it gets really, really, really unübersichtlich. Chaotic? Yeah, well, chaotic. And the dope sheet helps to rearrange the keyframes in time. Well, this is the most, the biggest problem. The poses, striking the poses is quite easy, and most people can do that. But doing the timing is the problem. And I don't know just a few people who are able to make a timing the first time perfect. And so it's all about rearranging the timing, and that is where the dope sheet comes in, and it really does it very well. I just select that, no, that one. That's why it's here. Select that guy, that, and there should be 3. No, it was that one. Okay, so we have the 3 ones, and it updates all of them, and I can just rearrange that and say, okay, well, this move that over here, or more like over here, and it's a better timing. It's like, hooray, whatever. And this is quite nice. And when you're done with that, you can store that clip. For example, they have done this with these buttons. I just say store all, and say, okay, and give it a name, hooray, and store it. Now it's stored in the scene, and it didn't store the arms. Okay, don't mind, never mind. It's the same principle. And I go to the animation mixer, and I can just say insert source, and I have already an animation in there. Let's go over here. Oh, there are a lot of animations I already did. I can show you one. Like, for example, the walking thing. Okay, it's not properly connected, so I can't show you that. But this is the principle. You have the clip. You can reoriented the time. You can do mixing effects, for example, like standard transition from there to there. Then it fades from these two positions from that to that, and all that stuff. So you can arrange really complex stuff together. And again, after you're done, of course, no engine can use that stuff. You simply export that to one clip, and that get exported to the engine, which is fine. So again, you can use very, very high-level animation tools and put out a very low-res thing. That's very, very cool. Okay, that's so much for animation. And I think we're done. Let's see if I still have a file. No, but I can show you one of the final animations in here. It's like this. That's a death animation, and this was done in one take. This is just one, as you can see, or again 40 frames. So well, yeah, it works. It's nice. Well, I think that's it. I hope I gave you. Oh no, one cool thing. The render map thing. There's one cheap way. I forgot. Open. If you're lazy, and we're lazy all the time, light. And for example, you want to do a demo, and you have a nice model, and you have you think, okay, I can knock out an animation in one night, and I have a texture, but I have to texture it the bad way, like whatever, on no time for unique mapping, and you just texture it until it looks good. But you want to have a nice light map. You can of course bake the light map to the vertex colors, which is today we have models with very high vertices, and the vertex map looks good again. It was a cool thing back then, a few years ago, and then we said, okay, well, it's not enough. We need light maps. But now the models are so high resolution again that we can use vertex colors. It looks very, very good, and I just select that, go here, show you, go render map, and this is very easy because you don't need to apply any texture or anything. You just say vertices only, sampling, you generate colored vertices, and you say, well, okay, please regenerate that map. And now mental ray is popping up, doing a final gathering pre-processing in this case, and here we are. And it's a nicely shaded ball. And if you apply a texture to that, all these vertex color seams you see here, you won't see that, and it's very quick and dirty solution for a fast, nice result, and it's good for quick-made overnight productions, and it gives you the extra bonus definitely in the look, and it's just one button to click. So this is nice, and good night.